Hi parents, we are discussing on a topic which is teenage parenting. In last couple of videos, I talked on various things, and this video is to summarize everything on teenage parenting. If you have a preteen or a teenager, watch this video completely because you'll find entire thing in a nutshell in this summary video. Right? The first important point to understand is that we have to accept that teenage is a part of life. Teenage is a part of life. Just like when you had an infant child in 6 months or 8 months, and the child was trying to walk, and he fell down a couple of times, he or she fell down a couple of times. We did not think too much about it because we understood that this is learning and growth of life. That your small kid will try walking and falling. Similarly, teenage is a phase of life. Teenage is a part of growth of life. You have to understand that they will go through this stage of life, which is between childhood and adulthood. Right? This is important to understand. And the first video I talked of this actually understanding that this is an important phase of life where they are trying to identify themselves, right? Because they'll have a lot of things which will be unique in this phase of life, right? From 13 to 19. Second, I spoke of what are four distinct attributes of a teenager, right? They get angry, they have arguments, they are alone, and they may be arrogant. Now, all four of them may not be present in your teenager, or some may be present in higher quantity or a higher proportion, and they may be angry for reasons which may not be able to comprehend, handleable by you. May not be happy with the belief system in society, or the gender bias or discrimination or pollution or society. There are a lot of things on which they will be unhappy. They will have a strong, I would say, their belief, and this is where they may find that you will find that they will try to express those through maybe their anger or maybe their arguments, and they feel that I know better in life because kids may be on top of a lot of things which you maybe not be aware as a parent, right? And uh, one important aspect is being alone when they are teenager, because at this point of time, understand that they are trying to identify themselves. They are trying to actually discover themselves in terms of their food taste, their music, their dress, their belief, their entire identity, and they would like to associate themselves as a teenager with their peer group, their school friend or their college friend, and not with you. And at this point of time, you should not feel sad or disappointed that your teenager is not coming close to you, is not hugging you, or is not having that nice chat which he or she used to have earlier, right? So in this phase of life, they will be alone, and you should give that space to them, right? So they will be alone. They will have arguments because they feel that this is my way or your way. And those things, four things: being angry, being argumentative, being alone, or being arrogant, all these four are important aspects of their characteristics, and they will be there when they are teenagers. So you need to accept that. Do not try to press the panic button that suddenly your teenager is getting angry or your teenager is alone, feeling alone. So they will be interacting on social media, on Instagram or their own WhatsApp group, because they want to identify themselves with their peer group. They want to identify with a particular rock music, with a particular type of book reading. A lot of things will be there where the things start changing, right? This is which I mentioned, and this is important to understand that you need to get this part very clear, that these four A's are characteristics of a teenager, and you need to understand that this will pass. This is a learning phase of life, right? And in last two videos, I mentioned about actually how to build that relationship with your teenager, how to bond better with them, how to cope with all of them, right? I mentioned of 6 tips. I'm just mentioning now randomly all these tips because you will understand that these are something which you need to look at it first, not in the order of importance or in the order of which they appeared in the past videos. First is give space to them. Do not micromanage. We generally always tend to micromanage kids, that this is what they should do at this point of time, at morning time, afternoon time, lunch time, dinner time. You always try to micromanage. Do not micromanage your teenager. Give them space. They love it, right? They will love it. Second is, don't belittle them. Don't be sarcastic. Don't pull them down and telling that why can't you understand this, and you should have done this by now, and are you deaf, are you dumb, when will you grow up, those are things mostly parents see, because we feel that we are doing a good job by telling that when are you going to grow up, or by being sarcastic, right? Also, do not compare your teenage life versus their teenage life. Both are different. Now it's absolutely digital age. In your time and my time, as kid, we never had this, the best of technology gadgets and internet, but now we have. There's no point. And the moment you tell your child that in my time I was doing this and your time look at what you're doing, the child is feel that my parents don't understand me, right? So don't compare your teenage life versus their teenage life, right? And the other important aspect I mentioned was appreciate. Your teenager is hungry of appreciation. You generally feel that since they're growing up and they're 13 years, 15 years, 17, 18 years, they do not need appreciation. That's wrong. That's a very very wrong belief you have. They need an appreciation, and you'll surprise. Your teenager will be doing so many interesting things, so many wonderful things on a daily basis. Will be helping sibling, doing some small household activities in art and craft, singing, reading. So appreciate small things in life, right? And one thing which is very important: hug your teenager. when was the last time when was the last time you hugged your teenager, right? We feel that we used to always hug our kids when they were small, but when was the last time you hugged your teenager, right? Are you doing it regularly? When you hug your teenager, give a pat on their back, appreciate them. It's a different level of energy which will come. Different level of energy will come, right? So these are things which I mentioned. Give space, don't compare, don't belittle, don't be sarcastic, appreciate them. Accept accept that this is a phase of life in which they will try to find themselves. You need to be supportive, understand, and walk with them. Walk with them, understand their struggle. Do you know their struggle? Do you know the struggle, what problems they have with their peer group? There's a lot of peer pressure with teenagers. So all of this, understand their struggle, walk a mile with them in these cases, right? So these are things I have mentioned, and I hope you like the entire summary of video I mentioned on teenage parenting. And if you like this video in understanding teenage parenting, what to do, and you want to be updated, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking the button below, and I'll be coming up with a lot of new videos which are on teenage parenting, preteen, studies, habits, cooperation, gadgets, on all areas of parenting, because I want you to be an awesome parent. Awesome parent is one who's engaged with their kids and also giving their best, right? So subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I hope if you like this video, share with your friends who is currently finding that teenage phase of their kids' life a bit struggle, and this video may help them get into a better relationship with your teenage kids. Thank you. Bye bye.